Most people think Anthony Hernandez runs through Sean Strickland. That's what we thought too, until we actually started talking it through. And the more we broke it down, the less one-sided this fight started to look. Because Sean Strickland does things that make pressure fighters uncomfortable, even ones as relentless as Fluffy Hernandez. So Vince Morales and I sat down to figure out why this fight isn't as simple as it looks. Vince Morales joins the show. Vince, you guys are in for a treat because that is the man, UFC bantamweight, one of the smarter minds in the sports, and I wanted to get his insight on Sean Strickland and Fluffy Hernandez's coming fight this upcoming week. So Vince joins the show, man. What is up? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Waiting for a damn call. I'll tell you that much. I feel like I've been on deck since November, so just get me a fight. It's been almost a year. I'm losing my mind. But anyways, yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
We're going to get you there. We're going to get you there. We're here to talk about UFC Houston's main event, Strickland and Fluffy Hernandez. And I guess off the rip, dude, I want to get kind of your like first thoughts on this fight. A lot of people, like myself included, I like lean to Fluffy Hernandez to win this fight. I was like, man, Fluffy should just run through Sean Strickland. But like the more you think about it, like Sean Strickland's a very tough opponent. He is incredibly hard to take down, and he's very tricky for the simple fact of his teeps and his jab and stuff. He uses to good effect. What are your kind of first thoughts about this fight in general?
Dude, so my initial instinct, I was like immediately thinking Fluffy, but yeah, like you were saying, just when you start thinking about the things that Strickland brings to the table, like he's got great cardio himself. Like he's that teep working behind that jab, like those are things that keep people at bay, especially when they're trying to be heavy pressure guys. So like somebody like Fluffy might be there for that stuff. Where Fluffy, I think, has an edge is he doesn't just throw a single shot, he's throwing in combinations. I think that's what's going to be his key to working inside. I don't know if he'll need to necessarily get him all the way to the ground. I kind of can see him just pushing him up against the cage and like kind of dirty boxing him until seeing if Strickland can get tired. But like Strickland tends to have pretty good cardio too, so I don't know. We might see like an old school Randy Couture just beat him up.
It's interesting, man, because I mean the appealing thing about Anthony Hernandez is the ability to chain wrestle, the ability to find offense. He's very Khabib-esque to where he kind of finds damage in all places that he can. I remember the Brendan Allen fight. He just kind of worked on Brendan Allen. And with this being a 5-round fight, I feel like that kind of plays into his favor. That said, Sean Strickland has been fairly hard to take down. And I think part of the lean towards with Anthony Hernandez, you know, everybody wants him to fight is because of who's at the top of the division. You've got the Khamzat Chimaev, and I feel like everybody wants Hernandez to win this fight for the simple fact that it's like, oh man, Chimaev's just going to go do what he did to Dricus to Strickland. I want to see somebody with some grappling chops to face that. Do you think there's kind of a like a bias towards Fluffy based on who's at the top of the division? Because if you remember, they had that small little tournament. It was Baralho, Renner de Ritter, Fluffy, and somebody else. I'm kicking myself for not remembering. Nasruddin Imavov. That's who it was.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, man, we want to see somebody fresh in there. We don't want to see Sean Strickland. We want to see somebody fresh. Do you think there's kind of a bias there towards that for Sean Strickland?
I'd imagine so. If it's not like a bias from the UFC directly, I think there's like a public view bias where that's the case. I think Fluffy has all the right sort of tools to be like a big problem for Chimaev, and that's an exciting one. I think that's a great matchup. I'm pulling for it. So
Yeah, for sure, man. So let's get into the nuts and bolts. That's what you do best, really.
yeah.
We talked about the jab. We talked about the teep of Sean Strickland. As a guy who would like say you're facing a fighter kind of like Fluffy Hernandez, who is like relentless cardio, grappling is going to be nonstop. What is your not your preparation, but how do you approach a fight like that? Like, how are you game planning around a guy who will go nonstop and who will make you tired?
So at one point or another, Fluffy's gonna be the guy pushing forward. So you got to be able to deal with that with some angles, I think. And you're not just like taking an angle and then getting away scot-free. You got to angle, hit, angle, move. So you got to keep that moving on him. Which Strickland tends to throw like a single shot. He'll check hook out of some stuff, but I don't know if he like doesn't necessarily angle, plant, and go. And I think with that forward style, I think we need a little bit of that in order to deal with that pressure from Fluffy.
Yeah, I think also part of it, dude, is the kicks. He's going to be kicking constantly. He's going to be teeping to him, and you're going to want to keep that kind of the cardio disparity kind of in line with each other, right? Because if
Right.
Fluffy runs away with this and Sean's all of a sudden tired, it's going to be a long night for him. But if he can
Yeah, I feel
start
like
early, because Fluffy does start late. If he starts early hitting the body, Sean Strickland that is, starts teeping the body, putting the heel of his foot into the gut of Fluffy, like man, you can really keep this fight a little bit closer as the fight goes. You may not win rounds 4 and 5, but you might be able to take 1, 2, and 3. You follow what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think we've seen that with like well, I guess only once when Fluffy got stopped with that body shot, but like generally those like he's got a bit of that like softer build like that. Like
Yeah.
those the body tends to be that kind of weak area. So I mean, yeah, if you can get a few of those stab kicks, maybe not just regular teeps, but like stabbing those in there, maybe even like a little off round to like hit that liver area that might be able to slow him down enough that like now we can get to this picking poking thing where Strickland's probably going to get the better of that.
Yeah, I worry about the shoulder roll too, though. Kind of for Sean Strickland, he kind of likes to stand in the pocket,
Mhm.
and that's all fine and dandy when you're fighting a guy like Drickus who can get lulled into a
Yeah.
striking match. But like, I got the feeling like once Hernandez gets within a range where he can grab and grapple Strickland, he's going to do that. So I don't think staying in the pocket is going to be too much of a or shouldn't be too much of a priority for Sean Strickland. I mean,
Right.
his team and stuff, they have their own game plan and all that, but you also got to like realize what you're facing against, and it's a hard task. It really is.
Mhm. Mhm. I agree, and I think that's probably Strickland's big. He makes it work however he does it. I don't know, because like I feel
It's
like
weird.
the bantamweights we don't get away with shit like leaning out of the pocket, leaving our feet behind. Like any of dude, we got to be on it. So like Strickland gets away with that over and over. Like he doesn't get taken down, and he doesn't really get like calf kicked too often. So like if I'm Fluffy, like I'm trying to trigger those leans. I'm in on those legs, making them panic and wrestle, and then maybe dirty boxing them back to a level change. Maybe working that calf on it on the further exits. Like I feel like those tools should be there. And like if Fluffy starts doing that stuff and mixing things up, I think it's and the pace starts feeling on Strickland, like it's gonna be a rough night.
Yeah, and I lean towards it being that. Now that said, Sean Strickland is also we talking about how Fluffy's kind of a hard ask for anybody. Sean
Yeah.
Strickland's not an easy ask for anybody too. Um, I put maybe outside of Hamzat Chimaev,
Mhm.
the path to
Yeah,
victory is not clear.
right.
You follow what I'm
Right.
saying? Because like
He's an interesting puzzle. Like I said, like people just like he gets away with things and like I don't even know how he gets away with some of the stuff, but like yeah, he's definitely he's a tough bastard. He's there until the end. He's like well, usually the end is where he's screaming to turn it on, but like other than that, like he's still around. He's still fighting.
it's weird because he kind of has this ability to like lull you into a fight
Yeah.
that works for him, and that's kind of the danger for Hernandez. I feel like.
hmm I
Um,
think he's got to make him pay on that jab, especially if that jab starts coming low and cycling. Like he's got to be Fluffy's got to be in there and ready to throw when that jab's done, or maybe he gets hit and then follows straight back with the right hand. Because if you start cycling and pulling back, that right hand's gonna be there all day.
what? So we talked about the body work for Strickland. I always compliment your body work. You do
Thank
very
you.
very good job hitting the body, and I love good body work, man. Um, what's your approach to going to the body on an opponent who wants to grab you? You lowering your hands. You putting yourself an opportunity to dig an underhook, but like what's kind of your approach to maybe ending combinations with a body shot or opening with them, then coming up top like the old shoe shine or what?
Yeah, yeah. So if they're the pressure guys and they're trying to get me up against the cage, whether it's takedown or they're just pressing me there, I'm trying to flank, get an arm across, and get my butt out to the center and keep them pressed. If I can keep them pressed for that split second, I'm working the body. I'm throwing some good shots in there. So like for those wrestler guys that are doing that, that's one place I really like to do that. If I'm at range, I'm always just trying to poke that body and bring their lead hand down just a little bit. Know what I mean?
Now, what about when they're changing levels? Do you think like a long jab or a long cross to the body can really disincentivize like a shot?
100%, 100%. And like that's something that like a lot of the extreme guys do like pretty often. I feel like we hear Nixick say that a lot is like start throwing at the chest. That really mitigates the level changes and stuff. If they do level change, somebody did this last night.
Kong
Was
Wang,
last night
Kong Wang
somebody
did it.
who was it?
The Chinese lady.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. She was punching at the chest and she level changed right into that and ate a big right hand. So like, great. That's money.
that's a knockdown too. You gotta love a knockdown.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. I'll take that.
So I asked you about game planning against Fluffy. Let's flip the script here now. Sean Strickland. Um, he's hard to kick at times because he's got that little marching band march that he does where he's kind of like the Muay Thai picking up his lead leg. But
Yeah.
then there's times he's kind of leaning back and like Jack Hermanson had a lot of success kicking his legs
Mhm.
as he leaned or as he kind of when he decided to pivot because Sean Strickland will pivot sometimes. What do you approach a guy that how would you approach a puzzle like that? Because I know you said like at bantamweight you don't get the luxuries of having the weirder styles. You got to be kind of on point, but for size parity's sake, I guess you would say.
Yeah, no, for sure,
What
for sure.
yeah,
Like,
you know?
if so, triggering that sort of lean back, so starting a combination, and that's got to be a combination. Like a lot of times, the single stuff, it's not going to trigger that lean back. You got to be like, he's got to feel the threat of like more than two punches coming at him. He feels that threat, he starts that lean. We're ending our combinations on those kicks, and that's where you really start chopping down the tree. And it doesn't have to be like too hard, just another one, especially if they're taking that angle. Maybe they're looking for that check hook. Cool, we're off center, we're leaving that kick behind, and now we're just right above the knee. Just keep eating that, eating that. Or the calf kicks.
So you basically you're kind of like patting on his guard. Hey, look, I'm touching, I'm punching. You might want to lean back to counter, and then once he leans back, you'll kind of like the old school Muay Thai 1-2 low kick.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. Just stacking that right behind it, right behind at the end of your combos. I think that's a it's funny, dude, you're asking me some of these things. I was doing some of this stuff because I'm helping one of our guys at the gym. He's got a title fight coming up.
Yeah.
And he's a forward wrestler guy. So like I'm flanking, I'm turning out, I'm working the body there. I'm trying to trigger his lean backs and ending combinations with kicks. So like I was just working the same stuff.
It's fresh on the mind, dude. It's fresh on the
Yeah.
mind. So what's some other X's and O's I guess you could take away from this fight? It's a weird fight because stylistically it's like two very, very different guys. What's some other things that you find interesting about this matchup?
Man, let me see. Just like I'm curious to see how Strickland's toughness, like not with just like his ability to take punches, but like his ability of getting pressured and like because I feel like Fluffy, regardless if he's being successful with it, he's gonna continue to try to stay on you. He's looking for that area where people break. You can almost feel it when you're in there where like they get a little deflated. And that's what he's hunting for. So I'm curious to see like if he gets that little bit of deflation out of Strickland, like how's he gonna deal with that? Is he gonna find a way back in the fight or is it shit rolling downhill now?
Right. And I think we kind of saw that point with him in the last Dricus fight.
Hmm.
Because he very, very, very competitive fight the first fight. A lot of people thought Strickland won against Dricus in the first fight, but that second, man, Dricus kind of broke him down and
Yeah.
he was just kind of throwing at him and stuff. And it's not the same kind of volume that Hernandez throws because Hernandez likes to press you up against the fence and kind of dictate where the fight goes himself.
Yeah.
But I think the effect can be the same if you can frustrate Sean Strickland to where, oh, your shoulder roll is not going to work. How are you going to shoulder roll when I'm pressing you against the fence and kneeing your legs and really kind of just pitter patter beating you up slowly over time, you know? I think that could be a point to where Fluffy can take over the fight.
Yeah, that's sort of Fluffy's game. That's like his MO a little bit too. Like he's a middleweight Marab sometimes. Like he just kind of just on you. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's not so damaging, but like it's a constant thing and your nervous system's getting spiked and before you know it, that's why you're deflated. It's not even like a damage thing. It's just, bro, I can't deal with things. Like there's a bit of panic setting in dealing with it and I think he's got that.
You remember when Dustin Poirier fought Khabib and he was like in between rounds, he's like, I can't keep him off of me. I gotta
Mhm.
imagine that's kind of what it's like to fight Fluffy.
Yeah, 100%.
So, what else on this card is interesting to me, real quick, dude? I want to pull that up too because we spent a good bit of time on this. You got Melky Costa and Dan Ige, bro.
Oh,
Melky
what a
Costa
fight,
is
bro. What a
on
fight.
a tear lately, right?
He's the truth, bro. He's the truth. I'm a big fan of that dude. I talked to him a few times. I think we were both on that Mexico City card where he had just fought a month before on the Seattle card last year. Dude, Milk is the truth.
How
I'm a big fan of that guy.
how big is he? He looks massive, man.
He's pretty big. Well, I'm like smaller on the bantamweight size, and he's a
Right.
weight class above me. So like, he's a big to me, dude. A lot of those featherweights, I'm like, bro, you guys are big people.
Y'all are giants. Yeah, that's a fun fight, man. That's a fun fight.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a
anyways,
great one.
Vince, I appreciate you coming on, dude. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to your next fight. What are you working on these days? Where you coaching at? Drop the whole, all the plugs, dude. Let me get what you got.
Nah, I got you, man. So, yeah, I'm helping out with the AMI team now over at Syndicate. Coach Wood trusts me enough to put me in that position and kind of see kind of what I can bring to the table and share some of the knowledge that I've acquired through the years and stuff. And man, it's been great. I think so far this year we lost one fight, and it was last night, and it was pretty controversial. The damn Arizona Commission, dude. We had 3 fighters on the card.
Yeah.
2 of them won, and they won in big fashion against their guys. And then our last guy for the amateur title fight I think he got robbed. And
Right.
like they made a big deal backstage about like fingers in the eyes and fouls and everything. But I guess not all fouls are equal, because my guy ate a couple headbutts and an illegal knee to the head. So like, and they didn't say anything. And the headbutt cut him up, and the optics got all skewed. Anyways, I see now I'm still heated from it, but yeah, I've been killing it over with the Amis, dude. I'm stoked to see like the next generation of fighters, dude. And these young guys coming up are so much better than what we were 10 years ago.
It's crazy.
It's crazy to see.
Dude, some of the guys that come in, I'm just like, why do you know how to box and wrestle already?
Already.
Like usually they come in this one, and then it's like, okay, now I'm gonna learn to box. Like Yo Romero, like, okay, now I'm gonna learn to punch, and oh, I love this even more. But now it's like you're watching like Mario Batista, and he's like, he can do it all. It's like, how do you know this?
Yeah, dude, exactly. Like it's cool to see. The sport's going to be in a real wild spot in the next few years. But yeah, other than that, I've been grinding away. I've been trying to stay ready for anything short notice, just with my situation. Like, and whatever. I'll be ready for whatever. Like it's almost been a year. It's my longest layoff. Like, I think my whole career.
Yeah.
Oh no, I tore my Achilles. No, and that was about a year.
I'm not gonna count that one.
Bro, yeah, I'm itching, bro. I'm like losing my mind. So like as soon as something comes up, I'm booked. I'm scrapping, and I think everyone's in for a treat, because I'm leaving everything out there, making this one. People are gonna remember this one.
Vince, appreciate it, man. You are the man, and I can't wait for your next fight, dude.
Cheers, brother. It was good to talk to you, man.